all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly values, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey everybody, how we doing? Hopefully everybody doing okay. You know what? One second, y'all. Okay, so before we get started, a couple of announcements. Now, in the Discord, and this is going to be members only content. I had a beautiful, I guess I'm going to have to re-record it because I recorded a 30-minute review for Honora Masterpiece. There was no sound. I don't know what happened to the sound, so I could not post it. I was very crestfallen about that. However, I am still going to go ahead and re-record and try to see if I can actually post it. I want to do the movie reviews once a month. It's going to be in the members Discord where we watch the movie and then discuss it. And I'm going to try to get or watch and review different kinds of movies because Honora was not my usual kind of movie to watch. In point of fact, it was actually not a movie that I would have watched at any point, but it won a lot of Oscars. And, you know, usually that don't mean a whole lot, but sometimes it do, sometimes it don't, blah, blah, blah. And I wanted to, why is my forehead so shiny? I wanted to see what the hoopla was about. So I'm going to try to do movies that have interesting themes that can really be talked about. And to me, it doesn't matter if it's a new movie or old movie, you know, just movies from different genres, things of that nature. Because I've been wanting to do movie reviews, and sometimes I overthink what I need to do, so that holds me back. So I'm just like, in the interest of transparency, I'm a big overthinker, and I will overthink things, and that overthinking will prevent me from action. However, I did show up in the Discord yesterday to have the discussion. So everything that I'm going to do in terms of the movie review, a lot of that posting is going to be in the Discord, the regular Discord and the members Discord. If you all are members and you have trouble getting into the membership, if you look into your perks, there's a link for the membership. This is to all my members. There's a link to the membership Discord. If for any reason you cannot access the membership Discord, shoot me like an email, or you can put it in the regular Discord and let me know, you know, that you're a member and you can't get into the membership Discord. And we'll get you in there, because in Discord, you can voice call. You actually can show up on video call if you want to. So we're going to get the Discord popping even more, because I'm glad that you guys do talk in the Discord. We do talk in the Discord. Hard truths. I ain't got no pen. I'm gonna get enough of not having a pen next to me. I done got out of the notion of pens. Ain't that crazy? That's not good. I do not have the pen next to me. Hard truths. I'm gonna have to make sure to come back to this live stream to see that. But thank you, T-Rex, for the contribution. Hard truths. I'll look that up and see if that's interesting. So yeah, it could be international films. It doesn't even have to be American films. A lot of films have a lot in them. I don't know if Anora needed Oscars, but it was interesting in its own way. Anyways, I'm going to see if I can re-record it and then post it. Girl, you talking about lose a few brain cells trying to watch a Tyler Perry movie. So anyway, I wanted to show y'all this clip. Now, Jasmine Crockett. We heard of Jasmine Crockett, correct? A Black woman, politician, obviously a Democrat. Okay. This is her official page, Representative Jasmine Crockett. If we go to the About section, we can read up on her, a brief read up on just who Jasmine Crockett actually is, or at least who she's telling us she is. Make it a little bigger so everybody can see it. Hopefully you guys can see it. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett has purposefully made every decision with one goal in mind: protecting the civil liberties of those in underrepresented communities. As a public defender, a civil rights attorney, a state representative, and a United States Congresswoman, Jasmine Crockett dedicates her life to public service with the goal of serving justice and ensuring equality for all. In the midst of political turmoil, economic distress, and racial inequality, Congresswoman Crockett laced up her shoes to march for justice and run for the Texas House of Representatives. The sole Black freshman and youngest Black lawmaker in Texas during the 87th legislative session, Congresswoman Crockett navigated what has been marked as the most conservative session in Texas history. Despite the uphill climb, Congresswoman Crockett filed more bills than any other freshman, assembled a wide coalition to pass landmark criminal justice reform in the House, and brought more accessibility and accountability to her office than before. She was a founding member of both the Texas Progressive Caucus as well as the Texas Caucus on Climate, Energy, and the Environment. As state representative, she fought for economic opportunity as a member of the Business and Industry Committee and advocated for reform on the Criminal Jurisprudence Committee. Congresswoman Crockett was one of the lead architects of the 2021 Texas House quorum break, which brought attention to the draconian and restrictive voting measures being proposed in the legislature. Her passion for justice and the protection of people's rights led her to pursue a career as a public defender and civil rights and criminal defense attorney. She focused on defending our most vulnerable among us from exploitation in the criminal justice system. As she began her career in the Bowie County Public Defender's Office, Crockett worked tirelessly to keep children safe and out of jail. Her time there serves as a reminder that criminal justice is an intersectional issue. Following her service in the Texas legislature, Crockett was served in the U.S. Representatives for Texas 30th Congressional District since January of 2023, representing portions of Dallas and Tarrant counties, representing the seat previously held for 30 years by the late Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson. In the 118th Congress, Crockett was elected as freshman leadership representative, and in the 119th Congress, she was appointed to the position of vice ranking member of the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform, which is very interesting, and the ranking member of the House Judiciary Subcommittee on Oversight. You can't make that up. She currently serves on the House Judiciary Committee and the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform. She was also appointed as Communications Task Force co-chair for the Democratic Women's Caucus. Crockett earned her BA in Business Administration from Rhodes College and her JD from the University of Houston. She is licensed to practice law in Texas, Arkansas, and the federal courts. Crockett is the past Bowie County Democratic Party chair, held various leadership positions within the legal community, is a former board member of the Dallas County Metro Care Services, and is a proud member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. Woo-wee, there we go, right? That was a mouthful, wasn't it? Are you subscribed to my channel? Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Are you even a subscriber, brother? Do you subscribe? Why would you want to pick on another Black woman? I should be ashamed of myself because I can't talk about her because she Black. I'm just trying to get the premise. I just want the premise. Why would you want to pick on another Black woman? You should be ashamed of yourself, sister. Assalamu alaikum. It's Ramadan and you doing this. What are you doing? I just want to know what's the premise? What is the premise that we're working from that makes her exempt from critique? I just want to know. Are we not going to speak anymore? No? We're not talking? We're done? Okay. Ramadan Mubarak. I wanted to share this little snippet, just a snippet. And we're going to listen to it in its entirety. Not going to stop it. Not going to stop it. I want you to hear it in full. We might run it back a couple of times so you can really hear it.
Are sending your kids to college to go and work on them. Okay, well, guess who is working the farms? So that you can afford your food.
That you can have food.
So that you can have food. Now, how many of you are looking to send your kids into hospitality after this college education so that they can go and make the beds at the hotels? How many of you are planning to send your kids to college? Because that's what we do here. We send everybody to college. How many of you are planning to send your kids to college so that they can then go and build these houses? So the reality is that so long as we live in a capitalist society, there's always going to be someone or a group of people that will do work that some of the rest of y'all don't want to do. These are the people that are really making us great in this country. How many of you are sending your kids to college to go and work on them? Okay, well, guess who is working the farms? So that you can afford your food.
So that you can have food.
So that you can have food. Now, how many of you are looking to send your kids into hospitality after this college education so that they can go and make the beds at the hotels? How many of you are planning to send your kids to college? Because that's what we do here. We send everybody to college. How many of you are planning to send your kids to college so that they can then go and build these houses? So the reality is that so long as we live in a capitalist society, there's always going to be someone or a group of people that will do work that some of the rest of y'all don't want to do. These are the people that are really making us great in this country.
How many of you want to pick this cotton? Huh? You want us to get rid of chattel slavery, but do you want to pick the cotton? Do you want to pick the cotton? You want to stand out all day and pick cotton? So who gonna pick the cotton if we don't have the Negroes picking the cotton? Who? Y'all don't want to pick the cotton. So how is it that you against slave labor, but you don't want to do the job that the slaves do? We got these slaves here picking this cotton, picking this tobacco, picking this sugar cane, because you don't want to do it. But your business thrive off the picking of this cotton. So shut up about the chattel slavery that we have enacted for hundreds of years that you have made your wealth from. Hannibal Africanist is right. Because what was different when what I said and what she just said? What was the difference? A plantation gatekeeper is what we're seeing here. See, let me say something. Because everybody was congratulating Jasmine when them clips was coming out, when she would be at those Congress meetings, okay, where Congress would convene, and she would be telling off the white people and, getting real spicy with all the white people. And everybody black was like, yeah, she telling them white folk when she get up there, she's spicy with the white people after getting all of the white people's paperwork. And let me clarify. I'm not mad at nobody that want to get a degree, because I would say for her, she needed to get that degree to be what she wanted to be. If you're not a doctor, if you're not going to be a lawyer, if you're not going to be one of these professions that require 4+ years, 4, 6, or 8 years worth of university, graduate, and all of these various different levels of education in order to receive the kind of degree that you're going to need in order to have that profession. If you're going to be in that profession, you absolutely need to go to school for that profession. You cannot bypass college education to get those kinds of professions. But the first problem, I had such a problem with this. The first problem is this.
You are sending your kids to college to go and work on them.
Who's sending your kids to college to go and work on the farm? The first gatekeeping of the Democratic plantation that she's doing is the concept of 4 years of college being the mandatory or almost the only route towards some type of economic success in this country. We gonna get to it. I'm gonna explain to you why what she's saying is goofy. I know that's exactly what she means, that nobody's gonna work those jobs. Who was working them before them? Who was doing it? You mean to tell me that there's not an American today that would go do that work? And let's talk about the farm thing before I go into the college thing, which is a lot. Let me talk about the farm thing. They talking about illegal immigrants going to pick some fruit off a tree. Do we know how industrialized farm work is? Do we know how industrialized farm work is? See, we think a farm is small enough to go pick an apple off a tree with manpower. Let me give you an example. In Indiana, there are cotton fields. I know we always associate cotton field with the South. In Indiana, if you're heading south through the middle of Indiana, the state of Indiana, and you are cutting south on I-65, for miles, there's nothing. In the middle of that, before you get to Indianapolis, there's nothing but cotton. Nothing but cotton. Nothing but cotton. And do you know I didn't see a single individual picking none of it? Those were the most gigantic machines that I had ever laid eyes on, with arms so long. Those big, I mean, them farm machines is humongous. They was they were huge from a distance. I could imagine how they looked up close, how monstrous this machine. Almost as big as an earth mover. Them combine. Thank you for the word UFO. The combines, the arms, as it was going down, it was picking all the cotton for rows and rows and rows and rows and rows, and only take one person to drive it. Farms is mechanized. It's not manpower. Only small farms are manpower like that. But them large industrial farms, those super crops, there are no people that are individually going up and down. It's too big. It's too big. If you ever seen them corn belts, go through the corn belt and all of them cornfields, they too big. They're too big for individuals to go and pick that stuff. They can't harvest it with manpower. They're harvesting it with machinery. Smaller farms, manpower. Okay? Personally owned farms, because sometimes you can see those with crops, personal You know, if you riding down south, you take a road trip, you can see the house, the home, and then the pasture land. It's a few acres. You know, some of it have animals, farms. Some of them are corn farms. Some of them are, you know, if you're in the Midwest, it's apples, things of that nature. The smaller orchids or the orchards, the smaller orchards and the smaller farms. And when I say small, I mean by relatively small. Okay. And they still have some machinery, maybe not as huge, but they still got the machinery there. You know what I'm saying? So the point that I'm making is that even our ancestors was not picking the plantations now are nearly 10 times the size of plantations then, like cotton fields. And I've seen those cotton fields in the South. I've seen them. They're massive, but they're not as big as they are now. The other thing about farm work and owning farms and working a farm in terms of Black people and minorities working them is all we have ever wanted to do. There has always been a section of us that have fought for them farms. We do want to farm because there's wealth in it. There's generational wealth in it. This country, among all of its other injustices, have always made a point to steal the farmland from Black families. We absolutely will pick all of it. We will pick all of it because we grow it. So it's a myth to me to believe that the only people that would be willing to go and do hard labor of that type are illegal immigrants who can only be paid in pennies and all of that. All that Black people want is a living wage. We know that Negroes will pick cotton for the right price, and our ancestors will roll over in their graves while we pick it. We will do it. We will. If they tell us that we can make $35 an hour picking cotton or $50 an hour picking cotton, you would not see the end of Negroes headed to the cotton field to pick it. We will sing a Negro spiritual as we go down them roads. All we want is living wages. But the corporations that own a lot of the farmland, they're the ones that are greedy and so forth and on. However, let's get back to the college lie. You know what? Let's do a commercial break and then we'll get back to it. So after these messages, we'll be right back. I need you guys to go and hit the link to ashkicking.com. The link is pinned to the top of the chat. If you're trying to keep your skin looking, feeling, smelling its absolute best, you need this body butter in your life. I promise you. It's soft, it's silky, it soaks in really well. It's not tacky, it doesn't sit on your skin, and it smells wonderful. If this is going to be your first order, please take advantage of the 10% discount using a promo code Crimson at checkout. Okay. I need you guys. I owe you guys a bam, 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 bam. You got to hit the like button. Bam, bam. You got to go ahead and hit the like button. Let me get to the super chats. Thank you, Miss Almond. I said no black passes over here. We stated that Friday. Thank you, Bakish, for your super sticker. I appreciate you very much. Thank you. Shell shocks and modern day slavery, folks can't even fathom what is said, which is sad. They were saying this during the election: orange pickers, landscapers, nannies. Exactly. See, let's go back to the college thing. That has been a trap to Black people. We have come into so much debt from being convinced that the pathway to making a very good income is through a 4-year college to get a degree. At one point, a bachelor's was like having a PhD. Okay. They convinced us that that was what we needed in order to succeed in the future, in order to be able to move our way up in this society. If we wanted to not be this impoverished class of people, then this was the way to work ourselves up. We needed education, 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 because so many jobs were going to be available only for those who had bachelors in this or that. They never said what to get the bachelor's in, mind you. And they neglected to tell us that it would put us in so much debt because we would be able to go to college on the condition of accepting predatory loans, because most Black people do not have the familial wealth to be able to pay for college out of our pockets. So even if we are intelligent enough, smart enough, we make the grades. If you didn't make scholarships and things of that nature, then you needed to go get a loan. And what we were told, the lie that we were told, was that even though we incurred the debt of education, we would be able to pay it off after with the good job that we got. And then it would equal itself out and we would be able to live comfortably, better than our parents. Okay? That is what we were told. And I'm aware, Sister Bethshua, that it wasn't just Black people that were told that. But we suffer the most because of it. And the reason why we suffer the most because of it, sis, is because we don't have the safety net that other people have. Many white, not everybody, but many white people, even if they had to take loans, if they got out of college and could not make good on the career path that their education showed, there were many instances where they could go work the family business, or they could live with their parents for a while until they found something, or they could find. We couldn't do that. We didn't really have that safety net. Most of our families don't have family businesses that we can just jump into. A lot of our parents don't have homes we can go back to. They was living in an apartment and we may or may not be able to come back to them for a little while. But a lot of our parents need help. So we really couldn't stay there for free. We had to work, pay them, help them, things of that nature. And in our culture, it's kind of frowned upon to come back to your parents' house after you're an adult of a certain age. So for us, for Black people, without that safety net to sort of fall back on, just in case things didn't quite work the way that we thought that they would, in terms of coming out of school and being able to pursue our dream job or dream career or what have you, and then having to turn around and get a job that was lesser than your skill set or your education told you should get. A lot of us got those degrees. We incurred hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of debt, and it buried us, because even if we go get a job that we can live on, that debt just piles up, and you either paying it or you let it go into not deferment, but what's the word for it? I forget the word for it. Default. Thank you, sis. Into default, which ruins your credit, which ruins, there's interest piling up on those loans. They were predatory. We didn't know what we were signing. 18, 19 years old, your parents can't really help you either. They don't know what that promissory note really means. We just want to get into college. We just want to go. We just want somebody to pay for it. We know our mama can't pay for it. We know daddy can't pay for it. We know we ain't got no money. Right? So this is why it hurt us more. I would say percentage-wise, we got hurt worse than other demographics of people from that same lie. Now, many of us, Black people, we don't mind these so-called little jobs. It's just that with the influx of immigrants and this and that, they just replaced us because we want a living wage and they don't require one, because legally they can't demand it and legally we can. That's the crux of the matter. Not whether or not we would do the jobs, or that there was enough of us that would actually do that work. But we can't do it for pennies. We can't do it for pennies. And we shouldn't have to. That is not a good competition for us. There are not many classes of people that can compete with a group of people that you can pay $2 and $3 and $4 an hour to, and they'll take it. What we supposed to do? Inflation. We actually pay taxes. We actually got rent to pay. Believe it or not, not a whole lot of us are actually on any kind of government assistance. We would do, you know how I know we would do them jobs? Because how many Black people work at Popeyes? How many Black people work at Mickey D's? Other fast food places? How many Black people work as cashiers? And these are considered low level. You don't need any particular skill to do the job. These are low level jobs with minimum wage as pay. How many Black people do this stuff? We willingly go to these jobs. So we're not sticking our noses up at minimum wage or hard labor. We're not. It's just that we get boxed out of it because you got to pay me at least you got to pay me what the state minimum wage say. You at least got to pay me what the state minimum wage say. You're not going to pay me that. That's illegal. But an illegal immigrant can't make that statement. They have to take whatever it is that's being offered to them, because they don't have the legal right to demand full workers' compensations, actual legal pay. You can go to Home Depot and get a guy that doesn't speak English and try to get him to understand that you want some plumbing work done or you want some contracting work done. How many Black men are contractors? who would love to do those jobs. He just not going to do it for pennies. He has honed that skill. He has a whole business. So on the one end, let's say a Black man has a contractor's business. On the one end, he's competing with white men and others for the higher wage stuff that he knows how to do. But he's not going to be able to get those contracts with the city and with the state and, and all those sorts of things because others are going to be preferred over him. And then on the other end, he's got to compete with a group of people who can't demand his wage. And couple that with people who want work done, but don't want to pay that wage or can't afford it. We would do this work. How many Black people work at Walmart? How many Black people is pushing carts at a supermarket? We will do this. We will do low wage work. There are many women that I know of personally that would definitely go to a hotel and clean those rooms, but she not going to get hired over and above Consuela. Consuela going to get hired first. We will do this work. We will do this work. They took vocation from us in school. We remember that, don't we? We remember they took vocation away because all of the jobs that required vocation like that, they moved it out of the United States, manufacturing and things of that nature. You remember how they moved all that stuff? This was right around the time that they was convincing us that we needed a 4-year degree to do anything. So they took away the skill of vocation so that our young boys, you had woodworking class, you had mechanic class, auto, things of that nature. We had all of that stuff to get you interested in doing it. And those who were interested in doing it would pursue that career. Didn't need 4 years of accruing a debt that he cannot pay. All you needed was the skill set. So in my mind, this is all a myth. This is a myth about what work Black people won't do. Yes, we will. We will definitely do it. We will definitely do it. And we know poorer white people gonna do it. Here's the problem. The other problem with what she's also saying. She's advocating for the influx of illegal immigration in order to support the American economy, supposedly. However, what never gets taken into account is economic downturn, inflations, and recessions. So when times get tough, people start lowering those standards and saying, I'll work anywhere that pay me enough that I can live. We'll do all of that work. We'll work 2 jobs. We'll work 3. But guess who got them jobs? Guess who got them? They shut down the Pepsi plant in Chicago that's been there like 60 or 70 years. The majority of people that worked in that plant was Black people and Hispanic people, Mexicans mostly. But it was like almost 50-50 or 60-40 Black. people who had spent the last 20, 30 years in a Pepsi packing plant, bottling plant. They shut it down just without notice. They didn't even say nothing about it. And I have no doubt they're going to open it back up with a bunch of immigrants working there. And only to try to push the narrative that, you know, American citizens, both natural citizens and legal immigrants, just don't want to do that work. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. It's Democratic plantation talk because a heavy influx of illegal immigrants is bad for us as Black people specifically. Because then we get squares out of every work category. Everybody can't be a corporate worker. Everybody's not going to work in a company. Everybody's not sitting behind a desk. Everybody's not making six figures. The majority of people are average workers, and they're working average minimum wage to just above minimum wage jobs. It is what it is. We are now in an economic downturn. Inflation is out of the roof. And people are scrambling for work. That's actually one of the big reasons why the illegal immigration got to be looked at. Because listen, let me tell you something. Y'all know I'm in New York right now. And just about everybody that's working these delivery jobs, Amazon jobs, Grubhub jobs, Instacart jobs, you know, Uber jobs, they not Black. They not. And many of them don't speak a word of English. Now, I'm not going to speculate on their status here. The biggest problem of them being here is beyond the jobs that they hold. It is the burden upon the infrastructure that's the real issue. And I don't like the plantation talk that Miss Jasmine is doing. Because what she's saying is not in the best interest of Black Americans. That's not in our best interest to support the unchecked influx of illegal immigrants in this country. That is not helpful to us. That's not helpful to us. How does that help us? How? How do it help? How are we helped by them? I don't like it because the Democrats in general have been on this whole thing, and Black people so gullible, we get in on any type of thing that we think is racist or marginalized, whether it's to our detriment or not. Jumping on the bandwagon of it's inhumane to deport them. There's nothing wrong with these people. They need help. We're not talking about whether or not they need help. I don't think there's a single Black person in this country, whether they support the Democrats, the Republicans, or they are completely neutral and don't support anybody, I don't think anybody is thinking that these people should be treated inhumanely or any of that. And maybe they don't got to go home, but they got to get out of here. And I keep trying to tell Black people, I'm trying to tell my people, that if America right now go tits up, there is not a single place that Black Americans are going to be able to go where we are going to be welcomed. The Africans can go back to their country if push come to shove. A lot of the Caribbeans, they can go back to the island that they come from. If they come from South America, if they come from Central America. The Chinese can go back. The Indian can go back. The Pakistani can go back. The Somalian can go back. The Sudanese can go back. The Ghanaian can go back. The Nigerian can go back. Where we going? Where are we gonna go? Who want us? Who could take us? Who would take us and welcome us with open arms, whether we came legally or not, and let us just live and make a living and skirt their system, get over on their system? Who? Canada? Mexico? You realize Mexico has strict border policies, correct? They always have had strict border policies coming the other way. Who gonna take Black folk? European countries? African countries would not even take us. African countries would not even take us. We would be stuck to deal with whatever this country do. And if we got to fight, then we would just have to fight. But the reason that I don't like what Jasmine is saying is because regardless of the fact that I have never identified as Republican, Democrat, I don't like none of them because I know them for who they are. But this is why no matter how much Trump wilding out right now, because to a certain degree he wilding, right? This is why the Democrats still couldn't have won. Even if we know what we know now, he would have still won if we could redo them elections. Because the Democrats are so down bad that even with the stuff that Trump do now, they still wouldn't be able to win the seats. Because they want to keep all of the delusions, the stuff that's got us where we are, believing in these old myths that have done nothing but put us deeper into the hole, deeper and deeper and deeper. For anybody that think Kamala Harris would have done anything better, I'm here to tell you she would not. It would have been more calm because they want you sleep. She wouldn't have done things so out in the open. They would have not reported it. Because the American people did not know about a lot of policies that were enacted under their administration. They thought it was good. A lot of people didn't know what was enacted under Obama's administration either. And what kind of crazy policies, foreign policies, all kinds of stuff that's going on. We didn't know. We didn't get a report of every executive order that Biden signed, or every executive order Obama signed. And we didn't get a daily report of that. We didn't get a daily report of that. Because Kamala Harris still got away with all the millions of dollars in that campaign that could nobody answer for. And nobody's questioning it. So I'm saying that to say this. For those of us who have eyes, we should be able to determine that the country is crashing out no matter who is at the helm. Just one put you to sleep with it, and the other got you gritting your teeth with it. But they all do the same thing. That's why I wasn't worried about Trump winning. See, folks thought I was like just Trump because I necessarily like Trump. Trump is entertaining. Whether you like him or not, he gets on that microphone and acts up. He cut all the way up. But I'm not fooled. Because they're going to all do the same thing. They're going to get in there and they're going to support Israel. That's number one. You can't not do that. And you're going to make a lot of crazy announcements. We knew that from the first term. We got to understand this country is intentionally crashing out. This is an intentional crash out. I hope everybody know that. This is an intentional crash out. This is a planned crash out for this country. That's why I wasn't worried about it. People think it would have been better if Kamala was in there. No. You'd have still been paying $15 for eggs. Mm-hmm. I don't like it that we try to stay on the plantation. I don't like it. I don't like that we have still people like her that get into these positions of so-called power, and they still try to make us as a group of Black people buy into ideals that have not served us. That's what makes me side-eye them. Because you know that these strategies have not worked for Black people by and large. You know that for the most part, we're suffering underneath a lot of these various tactics that we have used and what has been given to us and told that if we do things this way and if we do things that way, we'll come out with better outcomes and things of that nature. It has not happened. So I side-eye anybody that still promotes those old ideas. You can't promote those old ideas to me. and me not give you a side eye for that. We know this stuff ain't been working. The Democratic Party let black people down, and they've been letting black people down for a very long time. A very long time. And she thinks it's cute to get somewhere. You know, I don't need you to act like you out the hood and like you ratchet. I don't need. Why do we need that? That does not solidify your blackness. Who you dancing a jig for? So I know that maybe there are some people who disagree, and that's fine. But at the same time, I disagree with her stance. Don't be telling us to go to college, and don't be telling us that we don't want farmland. Don't be telling us that we wouldn't work jobs with and we don't want gainful employment. Yes, we do. That's all we want at this point with the way the economy is. All we want is some gainful employment. Gen Z would love some gainful employment right about now. They want to get out their mama house. They really do, and they can't. Because now they're looking at us like we can't do what Gen X did. Because literally the job market, the economy, we can't afford it. Go to work, you still can't afford it. Full-time job, still can't afford it. How working a full-time 40 hours plus, 40, 50, 60 hours plus, and you can't survive on your own in this economy? That's horrible. I want my 40 acres. You want to talk about reparations? And I don't want this little fiat money. I want reparations and full right to that land. I don't want to have to pay taxes to nobody for no reason. Ironclad. Let me pick the land. And I want 40 acres. Me mind how I work it. They ain't trying to give us 40 acres because Black Wall Street was about 40 acres big. They saw what we do with that. This country just trying to fire black people before we can quit by replacing us as a working class and as a voting bloc. That's the two things they need to replace us: a working class and a voting bloc, so that we can be rendered completely obsolete in every meaningful aspect of this society. And then they won't care about what we want, what we need. We won't be able to have a voice. No matter what black person is in what office, we won't be able to have a voice that means anything. You misunderstood me. I don't want reparations in the form of money. I don't need them to cut me a check. I need them to give me the land. The check without the land is what's meaningless. You know how big the United States is? And do you know how much of it is unoccupied? Who said we wouldn't have money? Money is not the problem. It's lack of ownership of anything that's the issue. The income is not the problem. I didn't say no money. I just don't want money without land. We have money without land is the part that I need to be understood. Black people have a lot of money. Collectively, we have a lot of money. We don't have land. We don't have any ownership. But will it be tax-free? Oh no, we good. We good, Victor. It's no problem. We gotta have these discussions. That's all. I'm just inviting a couple people to the block party. That's all. Sis says I'm all for reparations for FBA, but being anti-Kamala and pro-Trump wasn't going to lead towards that goal. Agreed. Being pro-Kamala and anti-Trump wasn't either. Didn't matter who was supported. Black people did support Kamala. Black people in mass, the vast majority, at like a 80-some% clip, definitely 100% supported Kamala. Definitely. This was not Black people's vote. Black people vote didn't get Trump into office. It's just that we wasn't a big enough voting block to stop it. Because everybody else voted for Trump. The black people that voted for Kamala for the most part. But we've been voting for Democrats. This is the thing that we can't forget. We've been voting for Democrats, and reparations was no closer. It was no closer. Was no closer to happening. The Democrats don't care. I need black people to walk away with that. Just like you can see clearly that the Republicans and Trump and they don't care about black people, please understand that the Democrats feel the same way. For many administrations now, the Democrats held the Senate and the House and the president's seat. We wasn't no closer to any justice. The only thing the Democrats gave us was identity politics, gender confusion, and muddying our rights with everybody else's rights so that we couldn't say anything about what we needed as a group of people in this country. That's what they gave us. Pacifiers and candy to make us shut up. Anyway, I know y'all gets in an uproar when we talk about politics, and that's fine. Politics is a hot button issue. It's a trigger point for a lot of people. But I'm not here to argue with nobody. With that being said. So I'll let you leave you to it. You can argue in the comments. You can argue with your auntie. Jump down in the comment section. Oh, got some more. Timothy, thank you. Said this work could be given to nonviolent felons after for a re-education and sentence reduction. In sentence and salary, a win-win situation. Exactly. John Tell said also these people have a homeland they can send money back to, have and make an impact for us. Most won't get enough to send to the gas tank. Thank you, Real Books, for becoming a member. I appreciate you.
But now you have been promoted. You are now one of my elite employees.
Thank you, Scorched Earth, said paid to go against us. Thank you, Shell Shock again. So this is why the Dems are talking about voters' rights, but tried to fearmonger black folks to think it was about us. It's for illegals to vote. Thank you, Scorched Earth, said getting farmland, install solar. Thank you, Common Man, said there is 4,800 towns in the United States that are totally abandoned because everyone left and moved to the cities as times change. All you basically have to do is walk in and turn on the lights. This is essentially true. One more thing I'm going to say about the whole voting thing. Thank you, sis. In spite of our disagreement on this topic, I still got love and respect for you too. See, over here, a disagreement is not the end of the world. I don't not love my sis because we didn't see eye to eye on a particular subject. It is all good. I'm petty, but I ain't that petty. I'm not unreasonable. I'm not unreasonable, right? But I want to share something with you guys that Black people, we be blind when we want to be blind to stuff. And we think because Democrats say it, that it's for us, and it's not. Remember that big stink that they made these last couple of elections, especially the one that Biden won, and then it was a whole thing with and then Trump was trying to say the election was stolen and all this other kind of stuff, and all of that. It really blew up then, but it's not like it hadn't been talked about before. The whole situation with the idea of like voting discrimination and various rules, policies that were in place to quote unquote keep Black people from voting, right? Y'all remember that? And remember when they were saying stuff like, you're discriminating against voting based on whether or not people have IDs, and there are a lot of Black people that can't get like IDs, and I always thought that was very suspicious, because any Black person born here in this country, you got an ID. You got an ID. What's wrong with you? What, you living in the backwoods somewhere? If anybody saw you walking around, we got at least a state ID, even if we don't got a driver's license. You got a work ID. You got a school ID. You got an ID somewhere. Somebody know what you. We got social security numbers and birth certificates. So even if for whatever reason you don't have a state ID, you can go real quick and go and get one. They was talking about illegal immigrants, not Black people. And we jumped right in. Oh, yeah, we got to do something about the voting policies and the rules and regulations that's put in place to keep Black people from really voting. There's no. We can vote. We've been voting in mass. The only time Black people don't vote, it's those of us that be like, nope, it's the same thing and it don't matter who we vote for. That group of people. But that's like a minority of Black people, actually. That's not even the majority of us. That's like a small minority. The rest of Black people are capable of voting legally because we legally here. We got IDs and work pay stubs, and we got all that stuff. We have all of the legal paperwork that is required to be in this country. They was not talking about us. Because if you don't require any identification in order to go cast your ballot, who can go and cast a ballot and a vote? Right. Just wanted to leave y'all with that. All right. Jump down in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host of the Crimson Cure. This was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.